Today on the Winning with Shopify podcast,
It's beyond just putting me in a box that says, hey, I need an agent to do this for me.
I just keep clicking stuff until it says speak to human.
We don't love telling people the same thing over and over and over again. It has nothing to do with saving money, nothing to do with alleviating workload on agents. It's all about speed and offering a level of support that they otherwise couldn't.
This has to be a chat box. It's like first name and you're like Nick and then click send. Last name. And you're like, that was too fast. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Winning with Shopify podcast. For anyone that's not tuned in before, my name's Nick. I'm here in the British Isles, hence my very posh accent, as you guys over in the States tell me. If you have been tuning in for a while and you haven't already, then please do hit subscribe on whatever channel you're on. Give us a like and also check out our TikTok and Instagram channels. We have been posting quite a lot on there. And I've just checked in my notes. Elliot's going to shoot me if I don't flag our YouTube channel as well. He's also been uploading lots of little shorts from previous episodes. So if you love these long episodes, but you want to get some more bite-sized content, then go and check out our Instagram, our TikTok, and our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, check out the Growth Hub. That is a free community for Shopify brands. We also have a few absolute legends from non-Shopify brands that have come in there as well, and they are more than welcome. So if you're using WooCommerce, Magento, anything else, and you're sitting there listening to this podcast going, I'm crying inside because I want to be using Shopify, it's fine. It's a safe space. Come and chat with us. Now, today, you've probably seen in the title, we're talking about something you've probably never heard of before, which is AI. Obviously, I'm joking. Everyone knows what AI is, or certainly know a little bit about it, but we want to know a little bit more. So today, we're going to be talking about AI and customer service. And joining me is a very special guest. His name is Jacob from a company called Tidio. Jacob, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to have you on the show. And as we do with all of our guests when we first start off each episode, tell us a little bit about your background. Tell us about Tidio, and then we'll crack on talking about some of the features of it, things it does, and how it can help some of our amazing listeners at home.
Yeah, 100%. So I am an account executive at Tidio, and I've been working in SaaS sales, started as an SDR, kind of worked my way up into inside sales and then the AE position. So I'm familiar with the space. But I've been working at Tidio, started as an AE, and I'm entirely on the inbound team. So 100% of my workday is spent meeting with businesses that are somewhat interested in some aspect of AI for their customer service and customer experience.
Yeah. Which is everyone right now, isn't it? Like
at
everyone's
this point,
interested in AI. Yep.
Surely.
Tell us a bit about Tidio then. What does Tidio actually do? We mentioned AI, mentioned customer service. Like if somebody's like, okay, I'm going to use Tidio, what are they actually getting from you guys? What service, what platform?
Yeah. So there's kind of three major pillars to the platform. It's a customer experience platform. We started 12 years ago as all live chat and ticketing. So in the early days, everything was human to human oriented, you could say. And that's kind of the foundation that we've been building upon. And then shortly after, we got into the automation sphere and kind of built that on top of the help desk functionalities we have, starting with flows. So still relatively simple, right? Decision trees, your true chat bot, you could say a flow is all if then decision making. And then most recently, really in the last 2 years, it's been a major focus on the conversational AI component, which is way different from these flow style chatbot automations because it's not pre-scripted. I'm not saying what the next step is or connecting stages, right?
And so the bit you're saying it's not is when you're talking to a chatbot or a live chat pops up and it says, which of the four options are you most interested in, like track my order, like get a refund, etc.
Both sides, right? The customer experience is completely different because it's not button driven and you're not dragging me through a series of steps where I can't see the end. But then also configuring it is completely different because I don't need to map out all of those steps. It's operating based off the data sources that I teach it. So I control its brain, and that's really the extent of how I manipulate the AI. So, yeah.
Which I think is really interesting because so many people, I think I read a study on this recently. I can't remember the number, but I remember being impressed by how high the percentage was of people that were like, I just keep clicking stuff until it says speak to human.
Sure.
And then I read the stats at the bottom of that saying the irony is as well, all the people that were using, that answered this survey were using the same platform, and about 40% of them actually were still talking to AI when they thought they were talking to a human, which we're going to talk about a little bit as we go through, and kind of the ethics, the morals, and also the best approach to that. We're going to talk about it in a bit more detail later. But how let's start off with like how AI, right? How is it transforming customer service for businesses? Like, what are some of the fundamental things it's changing apart from, you might tell some of the obvious bits, but what are the less obvious things than just saving time, saving money, less humans on the ground?
Sure. Yeah, I think a big thing that I see from larger businesses, at least this is what they claim, it has nothing to do with saving money, nothing to do with alleviating workload on agents, and it's all about speed and offering a level of support that they otherwise couldn't. So I think that's a big thing is just the pace at which support operations are working at now. And we've kind of shifted from using automations, think like chatbots, whereas really our expectation was just that they're going to help us sort out the volume, right? Things like a main menu, they take everyone in and then they help compartmentalize all these requests so that we can work through them faster. And now we're way beyond just sorting and organizing these requests so that humans can answer them. We are answering them, right? We're trying to resolve tickets before they become tickets in the first place. So yeah, maybe that's the more obvious, the level zero. But I think something maybe less talked about is just the general speed and customer expectations
Yeah.
that go with that.
Which I think is amazing because speed is not what I thought you were going to say, but I think it's such a valid point. It's such a logical point when you think about it. Hey guys, I just want to take a moment aside from today's episodes to introduce one of our amazing sponsors, Cavella. They are the all-in-one platform that helps you design, sample, and launch your product lines. Cavella are helping Shopify brands save up to 40% on stock costs thanks to their smart, streamlined supply chain. That means more profit for you, less costs, and loads of time saved in trying to get stock on your shelves. Right now, you can fast track their waiting list and get 50% of your first sample order just by using the code WINNING at checkout. This is an exclusive offer for Winning with Shopify podcast listeners. Just go to the link in our description or in our bio to unlock the savings and skip the queue. You build your brand, save on stock, and step into the future of e-commerce with Cavella. That code again, WINNING. Back to the episode. And certainly, if you think about like I don't know, a big store, even if you had 1,000 staff on the ground, but you had like 2,000 or 3,000 requests coming in every 20 minutes, every 30 minutes from customers, which for some large brands would absolutely happen. At that speed, being able to go right, 30% of them, we just dealt with it quickly, or actually and I guess you kind of hinted at this. And I don't know if this is kind of where you were going to go with this, but you could almost have like one department specializes in order, like confirmation emails, for example. If someone gets in touch to go, I just want to confirm, like I've just ordered, can I confirm my address or whatever? Having a team that's like, we're logged into the order management system so we can see those details and change those quickly. We're logged into the return system over here means the chatbot's
Mhm.
getting you to the right team and the right team's still doing the job, isn't it? As opposed to AI replacing the humans, as you said.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. No, 100%. And then even doing some of those things for the agents, which is kind of at the forefront of what we're at now. It's beyond just putting me in a box that says, hey, I need an agent to do this for me. And it's, hey, we've already done this for the customer. Now we need the agent to do this final last step. So, yeah, it's just taking over more and more of the process, which isn't a bad thing, right? If you speak with people who are on the front lines actually answering the support questions, we don't love telling people the same thing over and over and over again. So, yeah, it's in everyone's best interest for the most part.
Yeah, I think it's amazing, and also like I was talking to a friend of mine who works for a bank in their customer service team, and I said, "What's one of the best bits of tech you've got there?" And he said my workload literally became 50% easier, which meant I could give customers more attention. When each customer comes in, they've already had 7 or 8 messages backwards and forwards of what they think is me. But I'm actually just asking, what's your date of birth, your name, your account number, etc. And actually now I know who you are. So when I get to you in the queue, and he said I'll have 3 conversations open on live chat at any one time. All their information's just there, and I'm just like, hey, how can I help? And the AI bot he said it will even summarize like what their main thing was. So if they said like, oh, I'm really unhappy, and then my wife had this, and then this happened to me, the AI bot will summarize all of that and say like, we keep losing our debit cards, and the agent goes, would you like me to send you a new debit card? And it's like, so that's his first interaction, but they've had actually quite a nice, polite conversation. And you say speed, it's been really quick. But he did tell me that with the speed, he was trying not to let the chatbot reply too quickly, so that you were like, this has to be a chat box. It's like first name, and you're like Nick, and then click send. Last name, and you're like, that was too fast. So it's like,
Yeah.
like creating a delay in there. How much do you guys find you have to do that with the tech as well, so that when it is sending those kind of initial messages, or when you've got this, you have to set delays just so the customer's expectations, like, it's quick, but it's not too quick, and there's still been no human usage for the
Sure.
stuff actually that's quite mundane.
No, I would say that's extremely relevant. And those are the things that, like, a lot of the clients I meet with, they don't even think about that kind of stuff, is that being too fast through an automation could be perceived not so well, which, like, I think all of that is going to change long term, but we are still absolutely dealing with that right now, where if end users don't feel that it's human like, that then they're those same visitors who are in the chat saying human, 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 right? So no,
Yeah, yeah.
it's very important. Yeah, yeah, and overlooked many times.
Absolutely, and yeah, I can imagine their confidence lost when it's not done right. I mean, we're kind of hinting at this anyway. Would you say that actually AI is enabling humans to do their jobs better, or is actually it starting to replace humans, or is it a murky mix of the two?
I would say it's a non-murky mix of the
Okay,
two. Like it's and
nice.
yeah, I think I work in sales, so I need to know my audience most of the time, and a lot of times you might have customer support directors and things like that where they don't want to hear anything about replacing human agents, right? But then we might talk to
The
someone who's
finance
the
director. I say.
yeah, finance, or even
Yeah,
like these bigger organizations, they have teams that are like director of process improvement. And so that's all they want to talk about is how can we improve process. And if that's replacing people, that just means we're going to use those people to do something more valuable. It doesn't mean we're just going and sweeping through the organization and firing everyone, right? But I think that, yeah, as far as helping human agents, we think about things like Copilot, where it's the AI is already tapped into the conversation, and I'm not having the AI take over the conversation entirely, but there are definitely instances where I can say, oh, this is what the AI would have said to this question that the customer just asked me. I could sit here and retype this whole thing, or I could just edit or send what the AI has already typed. So in many ways, speed, like it's helping the agents work faster. It's helping the agents avoid those questions that make their eyes roll, and when you're a live agent and you're handling, maybe 100 chats, 50 plus chats a day, you have plenty of those eye roll moments. It's those questions that are on the website. Like there are things that are on the homepage that visitors will ask your live agents. So I think in that respect, we clean that up. It is just completely false, though, to say that like AI is not taking anyone's job. And this isn't just in the respect of support, right? If I have a team of 100 people with zero automation in place, and in a matter of 30 to 60 days, I can have 50% of all of our previous chats resolved in a couple of, back and forth messages with the I need my human agents who were responsible for that 50%. I need to give them something else. So it's, yeah, not that they're disappearing, but like Tidio went through this. We went through this ourselves. We didn't used to have AI support in our chat. We have a full live team of human agents, and we still do. But those live agents are not working on level zero. They're working on level one, level two. They're working on multi-day tickets that require external teams from the support team to help with that kind of stuff. So everything's shifting up. I mean, you see this in coding. You see this everywhere.
yeah,
So
yeah. And
that's a long
and it's
answer, but
certainly. Yeah, yeah, no, no, I really appreciate it, and I think it's the same with like I used to run an IT company, and we used to provide a lot of phone systems, and we had like level one, level two, level three support. And level one support was like, my phone's not working. Have you turned it off and on? No, do that. Oh, it's working now, and that's like level one. Level two then's like, okay, let's reinstall some software and stuff. But you, the end user, are going to do it. I'm going to tell you how to do it, and you're going to do it. And we obviously need a more senior person for that. Level three is like something's broken in the data center, and like we need to fix that, and that's level three. And you're absolutely right. If we just had everybody, like maybe one person at level one person at level two, and then 50 people at level three, that's a good way of breaking down those levels. I think it's really interesting what you say actually about and I think this applies to any role in sales. And actually, to go on a very quick tangent, everyone listening, marketing is the most important thing in marketing is the person you're marketing to. And I love what you just said about the different people you find yourself in front of from a sales perspective, because they've all got their own different drivers, and you need to get those things to align. And the hardest thing is, especially if you've got multiple people, it's the conversations they have between themselves that you're not in, because obviously you're external. And it's when they're like, that Tidio talk. he didn't manage to answer this very. He said he can't do that. That's a real sticking point, and you need someone else to advocate for you to go. But we don't need that. That's not a feature we need. Or actually, even if it doesn't have that, we're still saving 40% efficiency. Our
That's the
responses
big
get
thing
more accurate.
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, just to your point there, people are so fixated, some stakeholders, they get fixated on the problem today, and then you start going back and forth about really trivial things like, oh, what about the extra click that we're going to have to face on this platform, whereas our old platform, our agents don't have to do that extra click. And
yeah,
to exactly what you
yeah.
just said, what about the 40% resolution? So
I mean, we have it with some clients, and yeah, just any clients listening right now, or yeah, any potential clients we're going to pitch to in the future. Like, please hear this in the nicest, politest possible way. I'm doing this for your own good. Sometimes we show data to people, and I've just done a talk in London when this episode goes out, where I'm specifically talking about the assumptions we make in marketing because we haven't checked the data. And once we've made the assumption and deployed a change, we still don't check the data. And I'm sharing some case studies, which I'll be probably the first agency that's ever stood on the stage and go, look at these negative results on some case studies. And it's where we've all, like us included, we've made the wrong assumptions. We've gone, no one reads all this chunky text, put it behind a read more button. So we did, and conversion rate dropped. People wanted the text, and we just made an assumption and didn't test it. And then when we did test it retrospectively, oh my gosh, it made such a difference. But I think it's, as I say, it's just so important when we look at who we're selling to, and that's marketing. But also, when you look at your system and actually the people in customer service, the more, I think from my perspective, the more AI can unlock some of the key information about the customer you're speaking to, the quicker you're going to get the answer. You mentioned something I think is really, really valuable, and I talk about this quite a lot on the show. So if you've heard this before, click boil on the kettle quickly. We talk a lot about talking to the customer service team to find out what people are asking. And we, as an SEO agency, we put that into content. So if everyone's phoning up going, I have not purchased yet, I am pre purchase, I'm going to the extent of a phone call to find out when I order this item that weighs 400 kilograms. I don't know what that is in pounds for you guys in the US. It's heavy, like several, like it's probably about 7 or 8 humans worth who work out and aren't too tall. So something's really heavy. You phone customer service, you say, is it going to be delivered by 2 people? And they go, oh, the content's on the website. That is SEO gold dust because they're just the ones that phoned up. The other people would go, well, this company clearly just chuck it in a van and someone wheels it to your front door and that's the end of the process. So question to you, and this is slightly off piste a little bit, talking about the AI, but I'm sure the AI can support this. How much reporting do your customers get from Tidio, and how many questions they start asking once they've got a better piece of software like you guys to then go, this is our marketing strategy, is breaking down all these pain points to make the sale?
yeah, I would say the analytics are more than half the battle to making the AI perform well anyways. So it's going to serve you on multiple fronts, but no matter how much data you have today, even if you've been running your support operation for 15 years and you've got all the transcripts, you're only going to make your AI X% smart using the content that you have today. And then the rest is going to come from real interactions and people that went and asked the AI that unique question for the first time. So the Tidio analytics, obviously the gold star for us is resolution rate, which is the percentage of chats that are resolved without human interaction. But what's really cool is looking into conversations by intent, which is basically the
Mm.
topic of these
Yeah, yeah,
conversations. So beyond knowing what people are asking, we can even group them into kind of assigning a magnitude to the topic. So you can see exactly how popular certain topics were inside of your AI. And like the major intention when we built that analytic, it was for the AI. It definitely wasn't to influence marketing teams. Data is good for everyone regardless. We were using it to understand where should we focus the most time in regards to ongoing training of the AI agent and the data sources. Because if you get 10,000 people into the chat every month and 6,000 people are talking about the process of your subscription service,
yeah, yeah.
then that's what we need to
Something's
focus
wrong.
on content
Yeah,
wise.
yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. I do. I love doing SEO because if you get the right marketing director or someone like the CEO, senior, who gets behind it and gets the strategy, it's like we're now chatting to the PR teams, the customer service, the sales teams. We're talking to customers to find out what they like, what they don't like. We're talking to the tech teams about all the analytics, like email. Like no one is off limits to us because it all influences the content on the front end for indexing on Google to provide a good experience, and then we prove that good experience. So the only other thing I just wrap up on my SEO point about customer service would be you mentioned like how many resolved things, how many things were resolved. It's one thing for I think a website just to say like excellent customer service, and we actually ran a test on a site where we put excellent customer service because it was, and people spoke about it in the reviews, and we made an assumption that we tested, and the assumption again, it's going to become a big part of the podcast, guys, is assumptions. The assumption that we tested was people talk about it in reviews how great the customer service is, and everyone's so lovely when they reach out to us as a brand, or my client as a brand, and talk to them. We thought people cared. We put excellent customer service in the like header of the site, like excellent, but we didn't prove it or anything. And we tried 5-star customer service, had no influence on conversion rate. We did not get more people buying. And then we took a step back and tried hypothesizing why are we not getting more sales? And one of the things we think, and it's always the thing you think, the data tells you what's happened, not why or how. The thing we think now is if we have to reassure people pre-sale that we've got good customer service, something's gone wrong. So we're still in that grey box at the moment with that particular client of going, what's because like it's not an expensive set of products they've got. It's not something you would save up for loads. The Klarna doesn't get used very often for the like buy now, pay later. So we're still in that little black box with the customer service one of going, what content do we need to put in just to basically say we're really nice people. We'll be reasonable, and if something goes wrong, we'll fix it without going things go wrong. So when they do, we'll fix it, because that's not a reassuring message. So I think that analytics engine, and which is where AI is so powerful, right? We give it a spreadsheet. These are all the recent transcript chats to do with delivery information. Tell me what we're missing, or write me some web copy that kind of summarize all this to reassure people that like our delivery is really good. And the AI, we put it to ChatGPT and said like these are just 50 out of like 50,000 customers that have complained about delivery, and that was it in that period where we had 50,000 customers. And the ChatGPT came back with all these like taglines of like over X percent, 99.9% customer satisfaction with our delivery service. And that was like, okay, cool, people are buying now. And I think it's really interesting to kind of do that bit. But AI is so good for that analytical bit, isn't it?
Sure. Well, even like the teams I meet with that don't have any chat in place, it's also even interesting just to see, not from the customer support side of things, but from the pre-sales side of things, what's the first question one of your website visitors has when they land on the site? And if you don't have a really low friction channel for them to ask that question, you're not going to know. But if you create, I've seen strategies where people just say, hey, if you have any questions, let us know, type them right here in a chat. And then, I mean, you have direct feedback from what these people are actually curious in. Super, yeah, super cool.
And so, I mean, using something like Tidio or an AI bot in that situation to help make that sale, to provide the right information, how hard is it? And this is a really loaded question that I'm sure guests want me to ask. Do you ever find that in your warehouse you have dead stock? You can't sell it, no one wants to buy it, and you can't get a refund on it. Or alternatively, you're missing inventory in your warehouse that you need. You've got sales coming in and you're low on stock and you haven't ordered more stock in time. All these things hit profit. And I've been there. I've run my own Shopify store and had exactly that problem. But we've partnered it up with Inventory Planner, who have the most incredible app to help you manage that and forecast exactly what products, what SKUs, even down to what color of product you need to order in advance to make sure stock levels remain consistent throughout. They're also running a 7-day boot camp. And if you want to go and sign up to that, it's 7 emails over 7 days. And it takes the same amount of time as your morning coffee. And in 7 days, like me, you can become an inventory management pro. Both links are in the description. Enjoy. How hard is it to get an AI bot or a chat bot or something to provide the information quickly on a web page? Like, say all the customer service agents are away and it's like, talk to our chat bot, we can help you. How hard is it to get that balance of like factual information, being salesy enough, like you or I would in a pitch, to get someone to buy that product? How do you train the AI bot to know enough of that to be effective whilst maintaining that kind of brand stability?
Sure. Some people are definitely in a better spot than others, and you've been talking a lot about SEO. The sites that I click on and train the AI on that have a nice effort put into the SEO, they really talk about their services and why they are good at what they do. They build credibility in talking about current use cases or clients or testimonials and things like that. Many times for like a well-written, well-built website, that's enough. That is, you've already put in all the time and effort into figuring out how do we say what we want to say that is compelling. Most websites already have that. So the AI is just taking from, like, the main influence on Lyro AI through Tidio, at least, is about the data sources, what you train it on. So if I answer every question with a credibility building statement at the end of it, generally the AI is going to pick up on that and do that same kind of stuff. So in that case, minutes, right? You've already done all the hard work.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's really powerful as well. Just saying to the AI, like, crawl the site, grab any content you want from this site, and but tell me if you think anything's like a bit odd or doesn't align with the rest of the site. Because we've all got a page in our website somewhere that says, "Hey, we give out free ice cream or something," but we don't anymore. But someone's not deleted the page. And but I mean, all of this, we're talking a lot about the chat AI side. How are customer expectations changing as a result of all these changes in AI becoming more of a feature in the buying journey, the buying cycle?
Sure. And a lot, it's changing a lot. And I think it's a lot, it's definitely due to more than just how businesses are building their support stacks. Uh, it's everywhere, right? Like students in university, they're all using AI for their note taking, et cetera, et cetera. Uh, a lot of people who find our business, when I ask, how'd you find us, by the way? What were you looking at? Well, I was talking to AI. So I think that beyond just what's on your website and how you tailor your support team to work with AI, they're already inevitably going to use it in their Google search when it pops up that AI summary or when they go to ChatGPT to find it. So the expectation of speed is already like well planted in their heads. And I think that that's the big thing is going to be speed. How's it changing the landscape? It's making everything way faster, and the expectation is that you should be fast. And maybe I'm the worst customer because I know what is possible with AI. So if you keep me waiting longer than 5 minutes and I'm trying to do something like change my shipping address, like I said, I'm the worst, but I'm fuming because I'm just like, come on, you guys you do maybe millions in revenue every year, and you couldn't put in the most basic of tools to help me help myself at midnight or whenever I'm on my phone doing my
And the
inevitable
danger
shopping.
of all of that, that's the unquantifiable annoyance of customers, as I like to call it. Or I don't always call it exactly that, but something similar. But you get the idea that actually that is frustrating customers like you, but like there's no analytics is going to tell you like Jacob's sitting at home frustrated right now. So sometimes and this is going to go against the whole grain of my agency and what we do about testing and data mining. There are some things you just don't know. I sometimes say to clients like there is such a thing as just good and bad layouts, good and bad design, and you can start to prove it with heat maps and other stuff. So I think with, with that you could see like the exit rates of people that are waiting over 2 minutes for a response and go, all right, well, that becomes a KPI. Our customer service team needs to respond within 2 minutes. But all of this, I just realized one of my notes from an earlier question we didn't cover, but I really do want to ask you about this because this is something that we had a roundtable in the Winning with Shopify Growth Hub the other day. As I mentioned in my intro, guys, go join it if you want. We were talking about AI. We were actually supposed to be talking about email content, and we ended up talking about AI because AI creates a lot of email content now. And then we had a separate session on AI with a separate group of people as well, a separate group of brands. And both groups shared a concern about privacy and giving AI access to information. You guys, obviously, to do what you do, you are giving the AI personal customer data information, you're giving it sales information. There's a lot of data in there. So, how do you, I mean, to ask a question about the tool, how do you A, keep it compliant and B, like, there are obviously risks around that. Like, what should people be aware of when using AI and unleashing it to their email database, their Shopify data, and other similar tools?
Sure. I think a big thing that I always remind people is that, and I can only speak to Lyro and Tidio's product, but it's never inventing or creating, right? So it really only regurgitates what we tell it is the truth, and it kind of looks at the whole truth as what we've given it inside of the data sources. I think I run into more barriers, like customer barriers around like trust and just preconceived ideas about AI and what it can do. Can AI take a piece of private information and do crazy malicious things with it? Like, yeah, if someone built it to do that, 100% that's possible. But in my experience, just on the sales side of things, like we're held to the same standards as like maybe your CRM would be as far as how compliant are you? How do you protect data and privacy just as much as your CRM does, right? And so, I mean, and it's all SaaS, and all the SaaS is so connected together. So I think even tools that are not directly exposed to customer data, they also, people want to see your SOC compliance. They want to know that they're asking us where our data is stored and et cetera, et cetera. So no, it feels extremely strict, but it should be. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
And I think that one of the dangers that, well, one of the fears that came up as a danger from one of the brands, and I won't share your names. It was a nice closed, safe space. Although I get a lot of people saying I couldn't make it. Was it recorded? It's like no, no. The idea of a round table is you have a seat at the table and you share as much as you listen, which is fine. Like, yeah. So there were enough of them. We're running another one just for those guys. But the question, sorry, a complete tangent, but the question was actually around like, I'm nervous that if I had an AI bot rather than a customer service rep and someone said, hey, like, I know the neighbor 6 doors down and I know they order from this, I'm going to pretend to be them and say, I've lost my order number. Like, how do you make sure that AI like doesn't share someone else's information in the same way? I think it was Samsung, wasn't it? They'd put some confidential information into an open AI and then found out that like if you just said what did Samsung ask yesterday about this and this, it said, oh, we were asking about this, and like shared the information because I think it was ChatGPT or OpenAI. So it didn't know like not to share it. It didn't know it was confidential, which obviously it hit the headlines all across the world. So like it's changed, but yeah. So just there is that level of scarcity around AI, isn't it? That like, how will it know to share the correct information? But you can build all those parameters in, can't you?
100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's it's more important than it even giving right answers. I would say, like, when you think about how we're building it and what we're cautious about, I would say there's more of a focus in ensuring, number one, that like data is completely siloed. A lot of customer data too, it's only referenced temporarily by the AI. So it's not that it always has access to this value. It's
It's not
when it's
constantly
speaking with
crawling the
that user.
orders
Right,
and yeah, yeah.
right. It's like, oh, I can find that for you. It finds it, and then we have to program in those, double check the email, double check the order ID. We emailed you a code. Can you use that kind of thing? So I mean, it's, yeah, similar to any, I would say, any customer facing
Hmm.
automation or
Yeah, yeah.
platform or something like that. Yeah,
I had a funny issue with AI recently, and this is me using it like new chat every time ask it anything, just like a classic AI kind of amateur. I asked it the other day. We run meetups, and we've actually got a meetup in September if anyone wants to come. Molly are hosting us in London. Shopify brands. If you're not on Shopify, you can still come. So we're running that, and I said, right. Right, AI. Here's all the information, all the key points. Write me an event description, and I copy and pasted it. And one of my team said, Nick, you know you like playing with AI. I was like, yeah. And they said, you've been playing with AI again. It's like, yeah, why? And they say, you've obviously used it to write the description. It's like, how do you know that? And it's like, because it's on like, I think it's the 4th of September, but it says the 6th everywhere. I was like, where's it got the 6th from? And I checked all the information I gave it, went back over the chat. I never told it the 6th. I said it was the 4th and shared like part of the email to say, like, look at this email from Molly. These are all the information, all bits of information about the cocktails that are going to be there and other stuff. Add all this information in, and it did. And it said there was going to be, I think it was like free hot dogs and pizza. I was like, we never said hot dogs and pizza. So like it had, and I think it was ChatGPT or Manus I was using, and it started making stuff up. So I think the good thing that you guys are doing is you're using a locked, as you say, like it just does one request and goes, right, find this order in this list, grab this information, then double check that, then pass it through. Whereas I was asking it to do an open question of like, write me a nice thing about this. And it gone, oh, the 6th of September must be nicer, and pizza and hot dogs sounds nicer. Because one of the guys at Molly emailed me and said, Nick, we haven't agreed what food we're doing yet. And I was like, oh, well, if you could do pizza and hot dogs, it would cheer up the AI bots because that's who said it. So I think it is important, I think, with AI that a lot of people go, if I just get it to say, like, write me a story, it will give me an amazing story exactly as I want. It's like, but you haven't given it any information. And I think that's where the process kind of comes
sure.
in, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. People also, like, it's so much deeper than just a like a chat GPT script as well, right? And without getting like way into it, they've done all the studies. What's the best way to prompt AI? And one of the big ways is by creating kind of autonomously thinking agents that work together, right? And I don't know if you've seen stuff like that, but where rather than writing a script and telling the AI to act with a certain persona, you create almost a board of directors, right? So this one's responsible for finding the truth and having data-backed evidence for why it found the answer. But Tidio has some that are just in charge of follow-up questions, and like the email AI, there's an extra kind of additional mechanism that's looking at, is is this likely to end up in a multi-message conversation? And if yes, then it acts completely different. So yeah, I hear a lot of people too that ask me that, what's stopping me from building my own AI? Like I use ChatGPT, I use Claude. What's stopping me from going and programming in my own? It doesn't seem that difficult. And I think that like your experience that you just shared about how maybe there's one extra line you could have wrote in that prompt to avoid that hallucination, or maybe you could have 5x to the length of that prompt to create additional personas in that prompt to make sure that there was no hallucination. That's what really, really high tech people, I guess, think about versus like me and you, the
Yeah,
average end
yeah.
user of AI. I've played around
Yeah.
with image, not to go on a tangent, I've played around with image generation and I just can't ever get it to work, but it's because I don't know how to communicate effectively to yeah, the model that's generating my image. So
Yeah, so
yeah,
that talk I did a couple of weeks ago, I wanted to share a lot of information about a client, but I was like, I know they won't let me use their name, and I don't want to use their name because I want to be really honest about some of the conversations we had and the assumptions we made, and actually some of the like both the amazing great like uplifts in revenue we found where we didn't expect to, and actually found our customers are really boring. They care about warranty, they care about delivery prices, and what they don't care about is what we thought was like this beautiful website design. Like the more beautiful we made the website, the worse the conversion rate was. They were like, I want a really good solid item. And when we asked customers, well, they said, when I look at the image, I can just see it. And again, in that talk, because I wanted to share this information about this client of ours, I just invented Janet's Jumper Shop and just asked an AI, give me an image of Janet's Jumper Shop. I was like, that guy's got 3 arms, and this lady, she looks great, but her shoulder is like inside this guy's chest. And I'm
yeah,
like, what have you done? And then I said, and now give me a shot of the same guys doing some number crunching, and they were just number crunching, but like suddenly they were in the warehouse instead of the office, and there were balloons everywhere. And I was like, the balloons are cool. So I use this like humorously in the talk to say like, and look, this is what AI think Janet's Jumper Shop looks like. How much fun are these guys having with their extra limbs? And this guy's got no chest. But and here they are doing their number crunching. So if you want to number crunch, guys, you need balloons. And it was like just kind of as I went through the talk, making 3 points about this nameless client. It was quite fun actually, just kind of adding those bits in. But I mean, AI is moving at a rate of knots. Like as you say, like even what you've just told me here, I'm sure everybody listening now is going to go, I'm going to get it to fact check itself and 5x the way it does tasks and stuff. That's important. But where's AI going, in your opinion, and from a Tidio perspective, like 5 years, 10 years? I know it's so far away, and the AI kind of, it's like a second lifetime of AI almost.
yeah, that's a big question, and I can only guess based on
Hmm.
what I see.
We'll get you back in 5 years to see if you're right. So no pressure. But
Sure. Yeah, yeah. I think speed in general and like a big push that we're seeing is maybe at first it was revolutionary if AI could answer a customer's question, generic, repeatable questions. And a couple weeks ago, we've kind of pushed live globally the ability for the AI to conversationally reference API endpoints. And so that's
Mhm.
just a fancy way of saying instead of telling me, hey, to check your order status, step number one, log into your account. Step number two, do this, where it is resolving my issue and telling me how to help myself. Now it just checks it for me, right? It'll use that endpoint in order to check that status, yeah, immediately. And I think that in the next 5 years, also too, beyond having the AI connected to your systems, the systems are more connected than ever as well. So I've seen what I would have, a year ago I've seen use cases where, a year ago, yeah, I would have said, look, AI is really cool and it's super powerful, but if it can't do things like that. And now I'll give you an example, like a retention based use case where we are checking the average customer value, we're checking the subscription tier, and we're checking how long they've been a customer in order to determine how the AI is going to
That's
process
smart.
this
Yeah, yeah.
churn attempt, right?
Yeah.
Whereas not that long ago, we could not do things like that. So now it can check like, hey, this is a medium value customer. They've been with our service for a year. They're already on a discounted subscription, so don't offer a discount. Don't offer this program because it's not relevant to their use case, et cetera, et cetera. And then it's going down different resolution paths based on, yeah, the information that's housed inside of the subscription platform itself. So not even in the data sources of the AI. And so I think that's where all of this is going. 5 years though, would you say 10 years? I mean, people aren't going to type anymore. I can tell you that. Like,
Yeah.
The AI is so fast that it'll probably take me twice as long to type my question than it will for the AI to go reference a bunch of values in the internal system, change my shipping address, and then let me know it's been completed. So I don't know where we get with that, right? I see people doing cool stuff with like virtual agents. A lot of people are interested in AI voice and things like that.
Yeah. I've
I'm
been
less
chatting to
interested.
ChatGPT in my car. It's built into Audi now,
Oh,
so I just
yeah.
in my car. So if anyone's in the car right now, this might work. Hey Audi, subscribe to Winning with Shopify podcast. And then ChatGPT might go and subscribe to the podcast for you. But yeah, I asked it a question today to show someone how rubbish the Audi AI like chat feature was. It's rubbish compared to like Siri, Alexa, Google. So to show them, and it came back saying, according to, the way it talks is rubbish still. It was like very broken up, but it said, according to ChatGPT, I think we were asking it what a macchiato was in a drive-through on the way to a client meeting at Starbucks. So it was like, yeah, someone was like, "What's a macchiato?" I was like, I don't actually know. I see it everywhere. So we asked the AI, and it's like, two macchiatos, please. This sounds great. And it was, yeah, just asking it little things like that to suddenly have it in the car. But I've been chatting to ChatGPT a little bit, and it asks you way more questions when you talk to it. When you type, you ask it something, and it gives it to you. When you talk, I don't know if it was ChatGPT actually, or Grok, or Manus. They're the three I've been using the most. But I started having a conversation with it. I'm pretty sure it was ChatGPT, and I sort of said, I need to get an outfit ready for a wedding. And it was like, okay, what's your relation to this person? What's the color scheme of the wedding? And started asking questions like, this is cool. Like, asking me stuff. Whereas previously, I would have to give it all of that to say, all right, now based on it being a lilac themed wedding, what is the color code for that? I'm setting, if my wife listens to this, I'm setting really high expectations for this wedding we're going to in a few weeks. And we've got a little baby who's only going to be sort of 3 or 4 months old. Actually, yeah, 3 months. So she's probably going to be sick on whatever I'm wearing. So that's also a consideration. Something that doesn't absorb sick would be amazing. But anyway, look, it's been great to have you on. As I said right at the start, guys, if you want to get 20% off, go to Tidio, tidio.com/WWS. These guys are going to be around for a little while. Jacob, I want to say a massive thank you for your time. If people want to follow you guys on social or see what's going along, rather than just going to that landing page, what are your social handles? How can people reach out to you?
Yeah, TIDIO. Find us on LinkedIn. Find us on YouTube if you want to see back end of the actual platform. And then I would recommend, yeah, everyone should go to the /WWS and actually see what it does with your own information because everything's hypothetical until you plug in your own information. And that's where you're going to have the most aha moments.
Yeah. And that's I should have said right at the start as well, guys. That's the part of the free bit as well, isn't it? So as a free demo, they can plug their information in and it can start telling them. I mean, tell me more about it, what it can do, and how that kind of process, that initial step, that free bit actually works.
Yeah. So it's essentially you're plugging in just your homepage URL or any URL that you want to really. And since customers don't read, what the AI is doing is it's reading all of these sub URLs and crawling the website for any text-based content. It is reading it, and then it's creating as many QA pairs as it can possibly think of about that information and allowing you to go into a playground and test exactly what that AI speaks like. So I would encourage anyone to build it and then go try and break it, right? If you're worried about it hallucinating or answering questions in a certain way, train it on your own data and go see it for yourself. Um, yeah,
Amazing.
100%.
Cool. I'm certainly going to go do that with a couple of my client sites and see what happens over the next few days. So if you want to see how that goes, guys, drop me an email and I'll let you know. But yeah, definitely check that out. And again, you get 20% off through us, which is really generous of these guys. So tidio.com/WWS. Jacob, a massive thank you for your time, your energy, all your answers, and giving up so much to come and join us today. So thank you so much.
100%. Thank you. Truly, it was fun.
Amazing. And for everybody listening at home, hit that subscribe button, leave us a review, 5 stars. If you're not happy, reach out. I'd love to get some feedback. Haters are going to hate. And some of them do email me from time to time. The most recent one, which I thought was really, really funny, is it said, stop making up well-known sayings. So I asked for a few and sent them back some Google links to say, this is not my saying, but that one is. And I will claim that from here on. So yeah, if you got any negative feedback, bring it on. I've got plenty of spare time at the moment, awake in the middle of the night, feeding my lovely little daughter. So if you haven't tuned in before, hope you've enjoyed today's show. We post every single Friday and we hope you can join us again next week. Take care, everybody. Our partners at Seguno have released a brand new app for Shopify, and it's called Shopify Connect for Canva. You can essentially look at all of your product images from Shopify directly in Canva and export them straight back. This can save you a lot of time. If you want to find out a bit more about this or go and find the app yourself, you can go to seguno.com/Canva. Enjoy.